Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast 16. I am, as always, one of your hosts, 𝐿𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐿, and my colleague,
Chris.
It's a pleasure to see you again. And as always, this is your voice, your nation. We're not going to get into too much funnies today, other than John's wearing a completely clean black shirt, which is nothing unusual. If it isn't black, grey or brown, Chris is wondering what's happened. If I ever walk in with something yellow or coloured, he might go blind. Because the colour is not me.
I'll be turned around, your missus made you there, that did it?
Let's be fair. The day John's wearing something that actually looks like it's colourful, he knows it'll be the partner that has put it on me. For me, I've got the EU steel tariffs. Hike threatens the biggest ever crisis for the UK steel industry. I also have Farage is genuinely worried about death threats. Threat assessment of China led to the spy case collapse, says the CPS. And last on my table is the UK deaths of homeless people is up at a record high since 2024. Over at Chris.
I've got the judiciary's current issue that has been raised regarding, obviously, which side the fence they sit on and how it affects them actually doing their job. Update on the current digital ID. Obviously, the government has actually responded to the petition. I'll get into that when we get into it, but that has already peed me off. Obviously, there will be a link to the petition as well, which I'll get this numbskull to turn around and add in descriptions and whatnot. Yeah. Obviously, last time we done a little description of a video, which we advise you to go watch, which is a month by month basis of if we all refused the digital ID. We now have month 2, which has been posted, so I'll get him to link the first
brilliant
as well.
Brilliant video.
I think it's quite interesting on how it goes. And obviously, last but not least, Rachel Reeves in the spotlight again, this time regarding the housing market.
How is that woman still our Chancellor? Fucking hell. Just fucking hell. That woman. How is that woman still our Chancellor? Anyway, let's get on with it. British Steel. The EU has announced plans to hike tariffs on imported steel in a move that UK steel industry has said could be perhaps the biggest crisis it has ever faced, up to and including worse than its Chinese issues. The Commission has set out plans to cut the amount of steel that can be imported into the bloc by half, beyond which the new 50% tariff will apply. The EU is the UK's most important export destination for steel, worth nearly $3 billion and representing 78% of the steel production made in the UK for overseas markets. Ouch. Fucking $3 billion. That is going to hurt economically. And John's little conversation is, why did we leave Europe? Because if we were part of Europe, we would be able to sustain our steel industry in this. All the reasons why we left Brexit are wrong. And Chris is here to say we wanted our own laws back. And I get that. But we're not economically better off. And we haven't controlled our migration.
You don't want those all come down to the execution of the exit strategy. By the stupid
Europe is never going to give us a deal that's better than being in Europe.
We could have easily negotiated a
market approach. No, I get that,
so
but they didn't.
Still have control of our legal laws, which I don't like the fact that Stammer's trying to go behind everyone's back and push us back into it, so Brussels has control again. You want to do that, Stammer? You're going to cause that much right. I'll be surprised if you're in office by the end of the fucking day that gets out.
I don't necessarily think that he's going to do it completely by stealth, but I'm on the camp of...
He's going to do it by being a fucking idiot.
I'm of the camp that we need the conversation again. You know what I'm saying? Many people rather claim to call me a Ramona. Now, the reason I'm a Ramona is because I saw the economical and financial damage we would do ourselves. I looked at the politicians we had. Remember, head of lettuce, Theresa May, fucking, Boris fucking Johnson, the complete useless examples of people. These were your leaders running through the Brexit, and I knew.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
The Cabbage Patch Kids. That's an excellent statement from Christopher about how to deal with fucking Tory leaders. But this is 3 billion we're losing again because of the steel market, because we sit outside the EU. And I think that's an important thing point to make out.
Another point that some people may bring up is the fact, obviously, with the new regulations regarding passport and travel control. Even if we were to remain in the EU,
they would probably have come in anyway.
Still, with their new legislation, in fact, obviously, we have to do all the extra immigration documents. With their courting,
scrutinage, you're talking about the mass movement, which we've never been part of.
Yeah, we would never have turned around and got a pass for that anyway. We still would have fallen into the same pothole that we are now of the current legal documentation.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that, because we're not part of the mass transportation of people. We weren't part of the scrutinage agreement.
So if for people thinking that route, no, with our current
prior when we were part of the European Union.
Our current with our new laws regarding travel visas and everything else, we still would have fallen into that with the EU upgrading their current thing.
Yeah, because we were never part of scrutinage. We were never part of the centralistical system.
For one thing, there's the massive gap of 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿 between lands.
Yeah, that being a critical thing as well. The EU is proposing the reduced tariff-free quotas for importing to 18.3 million tonnes a year, to a 47% reduction from 2024 levels. The new measures will come into force early next year, but will first need to be approved by the majority of EU member states and the European Parliament. We have a global overcapacity, unfair competition, state aid, and undercutting in prices, which we are reacting to. Stefan 𝐟𝐨𝐵𝐿, the European Commission Executive Vice President for Prosperity and Industrial Strategy. 18,000 jobs were lost in the steel sector in 2024. So Europe lost 18,000 jobs. That's too many, and we have to put a stop to that, he told the news conference at the European Parliament in Strasbourg.
That's a little town, that is. 18,000.
Yeah, in one go, a fucking whole town gone.
That's a little steel community town, village, whatever you want to call it.
Vanished.
The EU countries.
But remember, they've allowed these Chinese steel markets to constantly come in with unfair trading. You see, they should be taking out the fucking European, whereas Britain trades fairly with our European allies. We always have done. China is the one that has state-sponsored aid towards its steel industries for geopolitical reasons, and we have to say that. Several firms were already in dire financial straits. The government took control of the Chinese-owned plant, 𝐶𝐿 earlier this year, whilst Liberty steel plants in Rotherham and Stockbroke collapsed into government control last month. So, I mean, the government's pretty much controlling our steel industry as it is. So, a question for you, Stemmer and the Conservatives. If it's okay for Britain to renationalise our steel industry, why can't we renationalise our water, our electric, which are industries that have been fucked over constantly? It's okay for us to, and I don't know, I'm not saying that we shouldn't protect our steel industry. I'm not anti to that. Are you, Chris? No, not at all.
No, we need to
protect our steel industry. But why can't we do water and power?
I'm going to say we could do it to steel. Why not?
Yeah.
Gas, electricity, water, rail.
Rail we can work on over time, because it is mildly profitable, and it is difficult that we would be able to take that off.
We can nationalise the lines and then turn around and companies pay a little profit to us to use those lines.
We mostly run the lines as it is.
But just making it
more responsive for us, yeah. I'll be able to tell you more in due course, but we are in discussions as you expect, Sir Keir Starmer said, refusing to go into details of any discussions, including whether the UK was seeking exempts from the rules. Responding to the announcement, the Director General of UK Steel, Gareth Stance, said the government must go all out to leverage our trading relationship with the European Union to secure UK's country's quotas or potentially face disaster. The move by the European Union is partly responsible to US President Donald Trump. Yeah, obviously, his behaviour. He created this hawkish protectionism, who sharply raised tariffs on foreign steel earlier this year, citing concerns about China, and has pushed other countries to take similar steps. Canada, Mexico and Brazil have also moved to increase protections for domestic steelmakers, responding to concerns about those firms losing business in the US whilst facing increased competition at home from shipments shifting from America. Mr. Stance cautioned now against EU measures redirecting millions of tonnes of steel towards the UK, something which could be terminal for many of our remaining steel companies. Community Union representative UK steelworkers called the measures as an existential threat to the industry. It is. If Europe does this, it is an existential threat to it. And I say again, in terms of Chris's desire for a market, us being part of the European market, was absolutely spot on. We should be part of the European market. They are our largest trading partner. We lose 40% increase to our food because we're outside. So it affects every single family.
You get that access back again. That means lower food bills.
Yeah, lower food bills, better trading capacities. All we need is a comprehensive trade deal with Europe.
I think that's what they should be working on, not trying to sneak back into the stupid legal system.
It's a fucking joke. It's vital we protect the trade flows between the UK and the EU, and we will work with our closest allies to address their global challenges rather than adding to our industrial woes. Industrial Minister Chris McDonald said. He's probably a cousin of mine. I don't joke. My family clan is fucking huge. The government has shown its commitment to our steel industry by securing preferential access to the US market for our exportations, and will continue to explore strong trade measures to protect UK steel production from unfair behaviour. The government said the industry minister will meet steel representatives on Thursday to discuss their concerns. I think that Stemmer's playing for time. Thoughts?
He's dancing on the fucking line.
Yeah.
He knows he's pissed off the entire country with digital ID. And the fact that there's almost 3 million now on the digital position, he's playing for time.
Yeah. I think the steel...
Or he's trying to use this to try and win some favour back. To this again, give him more time.
If he can pull this off, it will buy him rope. There's no question about that.
But he's still going to get a massive whiplash back from everything he is.
Well, I mean, the digital ID is the bugbear in the country. Mm-hmm. And it's unavoidable at the moment. Anyway, over to you, Chris.
All right. First lot from me. Generic brandishes judges' wig at Tory conference as he attacks the judiciary for fighting to keep illegal migrants in the UK. Bear in mind, this is from The Independent, and I'm not going to lie, after reading the article, it is a tad bit right-wing, but not too much. They bring some valid points. I've actually been doing my homework.
You all right?
Amazing what you can do when you decide to actually sit down and do it. Robert Jenrick has launched an unprecedented assault on the British judiciary, vowing to scrap the independent sentencing council and sack dozens of judges he's accused of open borders activism. And bear in mind, there are some things for something you're an idiot.
I want to be very, very, very clear about this. This gentleman is complaining about laws his party put in.
Yeah.
We need to stress this from the independents. They're laws written by Tory MPs.
The Shadow Justice Secretary claimed that he uncovered a slew of judges with links to open border charities who are broadcasting left-wing views on social media. Do you get the thing here? He's right. He's snitching on the left.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there are some valid points that he's making, without a doubt, but
the way he's going about it is not right.
And he's got the Tories are really good at dodging the conversation that they wrote these laws. 14 years they were in power.
They dishonour generations of independent jurists who come before them, and they undermine the people's trust in the law itself, he said. Adding that judges who blurred the line between adjudication and activism can have no place in our justice system. That statement I agree with. You start to blur the line, where does it stop?
But we need to do that also with our politicians and our press.
If you do that with the judges, you need to do that with yourself.
And the press.
And the press. Yeah. 5
out of 8 British papers are extremely right-wing.
Yeah. Brandishing a judge's wig, which he said signifies the transition from their everyday personality to that of a legal avatar. He warned, we have a problem with some acting against British interests. He said tens of judges have spent their careers fighting to keep illegal migrants in this country, adding that some even continue to do so whilst astonishingly serving as judges. It's like finding out he's appealing to the football lot here.
Yeah.
It's finding out halfway through a football match that the ref is actually a season ticket holder for the other side. He told Conservative Party conference.
You see, now I've got to object to this because all these laws that these judges are upholding, because judges' job is to uphold the laws, were written by Tory MPs. and Tory ministers and consecutive Tory governments. 14 years of them.
I got a statement at the end that I think will ring through this lovely article quite nicely. Former Supreme Court Judge Lord Sumpton slammed the plans, warning they would undermine public trust in the judiciary. Understandable. He told BBC Radio 4's World at One programme, the only possible reason for going back to the old system would be to appoint judges who were less independent or more political than the ones appointed by the judiciary.
Again, and that's a justifiable reason. Remember, America's been doing that just recently.
Yeah. Lord Sumpton warned that it would shift towards a US-style model, adding the United States, the Supreme Court has become subservient to the president and enabled him to behave like an autocrat. I think this is a very serious business in the United States, and we should be very careful to take warning from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, there needs to be better guidelines when it comes to the judiciary's neutrality. Absolutely. But we do not need to scrap the system.
No. He said the Shadow Justice Secretary attacks on activist judges were a mistake. Judges have got to be an independent of the government and independent of political settlements. I entirely agree with that. That is true. For you to maintain and hold the law, you must remain as close to the centre as humanly possible.
You can't be perfect. No one's going to be perfect.
No one's going to be perfect. You've got to remain as close to the centre as possible. Which means, I know, obviously, people have certain views that go extreme left, extreme right, about halfway, some extremely central. But when you become a judge, you need to...
And they are upholding the legal systems you created.
Expanding on this reference of the wig going on, as soon as that wig goes on, your mindset needs to become neutral.
Yeah.
And just on the case at hand. So not letting your personal stuff interfere with your job, which I think rings out not just in judges, but across every job entirely possible.
The problem being is Britain is fraying from its lack of centralism.
Yeah.
Because people are pulling too far to the left or too far to the right.
It's causing issues.
It is. And it's going to damage society and damage social cohesion.
But they can't be independent if they are liable to be denounced by politicians. And I think that is a serious mistake. It is a misjudgment on his part.
Absolutely.
And David Lammy accused Mr. Jarrett of threatening to trash the institutions and traditions that hold our country together. The Justice Secretary said the independence of judges from politicians is not optional. It is a cornerstone of British democracy. When politicians start deciding which judge can stay or go, that is democratic backsliding, and Robert Jarrett knows it.
Oh, absolutely.
And in reference to Mr. Jarrett's leaked comments about not seeing another white face on a visit to Birmingham earlier this year, Mr. Lammy added, unlike Robert Jarrett, the public knows Britishness isn't about retreating into superstition or judging people by the colour of their skin. It's about pride in what we built and contribute together. Yeah, that's another point. I'm sick of the pissing race card being played.
Yeah. A couple of middle-aged white men are not going to fucking sit here and be jerked by a fucking knee-jerk racist.
No, I don't give it. As long as you uphold country values, I don't give a crap what skin colour you are.
Religion, creed, or otherwise.
Bloody, as I call, paper white to frigging bright pink or whatever other into the colour spectrum there is. You're all part of the same boat. Stop playing the racial card. I'm sick of it. You all could go stick your heads up your ass ones that keep doing it because you're just naive and childish.
No, they're cynically nasty, Chris. They're doing it deliberately. It's an intention. They're doing it because they want to race bait the racists to come vote for them because they're running off to Nigel Farage. There is a reason behind it. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It is. Yeah. Mr. Jarrett vowed to scrap the Sentencing Council, which is responsible for setting guidelines on sentencing, comes after a row this year sparked by its guidance recommending judges take into account factors such as ethnicity or gender when deciding whether to ask for a pre-sentence report. No! You judge the person based on the crime they committed, not by the colour of their skin or their ethnicity. in order to have a jurisdictional system which is fair and concise, ethnicity or gender should not come into it. It should be based on purely what you've done wrong.
Stop. And the reason why I also is case by it depends on the cases. In rape cases, there should be a large body of women on the jury. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a just reason for that kind of conversation.
I thought the juries were always about 50-50 split anyway.
Not so sure in the UK.
Yeah,
not so sure how the split works in the UK.
As far as I'm aware, it's either they tried to do it 50-50 split or tried to do it as neutral as possible.
Split for jury work in the UK.
You don't need bring in a certain number of.
You might be talking about
jurors.
Can't get away with that. It's usually delivering 12 person. Yes, for a 12-person jury, but not all juries go to 12 persons. You see, that's the point. Not all juries go 12 people. A lot of cases aren't. Many of them go to 10 or 11. 12 jury cases are not common, but 12 jury cases have to be split evenly, half male, half female. But they're not required that in other parts. But in rape cases, I would say you need a chunk of women to be there to discuss because when the jury disappears, they sit down and they have a talk. They talk about right or wrong, what a woman would feel. You know what I'm saying? There's a conversation. Women have to be part of that conversation. So I understand where gender would be an important thing to be discussing in choosing a jury when dealing with a rape case.
No, this is a case of the fact of them considering life sentences based upon.
Oh, no, fuck no. Yeah. I thought you were talking about picking juries.
No. Jurors, as far as I'm aware, are based on a random hat selection of an equal split that would bring wrong forward.
Yeah. I thought you would. You weren't very clear about that.
This is judges, people, literally.
No, fuck no. No. Fuck no. No. Fuck no.
Let me reiterate that. It's fair to scrap the Sentencing Council was responsible for setting guidelines on sentencing, which comes after Ray this year, sparking its guidance, recommended judges take into account factors such as
fuck no.
Or gender.
No. The law needs to be neutral. The new law needs to be absolutely neutral. I thought this was about whether the juries.
Judges, not jurors, judges.
Right? No, fuck no.
No. Hence the reason I'm like no. When it comes to
discussing justice has to be blind.
When it comes to sentencing, doesn't matter what sat in front of you.
Yeah.
It's a case of the fact that the evidence has been brought forward. The jury has made the decision whether you're guilty or not guilty. If you've been deemed guilty, there is no freaking consideration for
race, colour, creed, or
in front of the judge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because Muslims would agree with that. Once your peers, your jury, have turned around and made it very clear whether or not you were found guilty or innocent, because they're the ones who decide, your peers do.
The only thing that should affect sentencing is whether
you're underage,
age of the person in front, first offence, severity of the offence,
and mental capacity. Mental
capacity. That should be the only 4 factors. That's it. There should be nothing else regarding gender or ethnicity.
Well, they're not a factual position. They shouldn't be a factual position in any way, shape, or form. Whether you're a man or a woman, if you've committed a crime, you should be judged neutrally by the law. Whether you're black, pink, polka dot spots, British Bengali, British Pakistani, British anything, you are being judged by your peers who are of the Brits.
Mr. Jenrick and others said the guidance would result in people facing a lesser punishment on the basis of their ethnicity. Why should their ethnicity have anything to do with it?
No, it shouldn't. Absolutely not.
Absolutely. So the proposal was withdrawn and the government introduced legalisation to require any new guidance to be approved by ministers. The Law of Society of England and Wales has said it will continue to advocate for systems which maintain the independence of the judiciary and reflect respect of the rule of law.
So it was withdrawn anyway?
Yeah. But I was just like, if you think of trying to push that back in...
No, of course not. Absolutely not. Someone's skin colour and someone's gender should not play. If your peers have said you are guilty of X, Y, Z, then it is the judge's decision, regardless of skin colour, creed, religion, or anything like that. The fact is, are you mentally capable of being judged for the crime? That should be asked before the jury's actually done that, to be honest. That's the one. Are you old enough?
I think that is.
Yeah. Legal age. Are you of legal age to be brought before a Crown Court? Because I'm pretty sure that's a Crown Court conversation.
Yeah, depending on whether you're 18 or it depends on which side of the justice system you go. Because you'll either then become...
If you're a child,
you go into the minor system, so you get charged
as an adult. Yeah.
That's already done.
So are you of mental capacity? Are you of the right age? I don't know.
Whether it's your first offence or not, it should be.
Well, no, is that a consideration if it's not serious enough? That's an important factor. Because if it's your first offence for murder, you should still go down for fucking murder, Chris.
Hence the reason why. But severity of the crime. Yeah, because if it's one of the top two, the other thing goes out the window.
Yeah, no, completely. So, like I said,
it's debatable.
The conversation that I was mixing was why the juries are being advised not to be that equal.
The jurors.
But it wasn't, it was judges. So honestly, no, I actually, for a briefly fucking moment, I actually agree with the back end of what was said by Mr. Jenkins, but he's dog whistling nationalists. And because he's dog whistling nationalists, I have a problem with what he's saying. Because his intent is wrong.
That's basically it on that. Everything else is about empty seats and everything else. Don't care about that.
Mr. Farage, genuinely worried about death threats.
Are you really surprised with the fact that the opposition is trying to tarnish him? Oh, actually, not the opposition, all of them. They're all scared of him. You do know that, don't you?
The way he talks about our legal institutions is a genuine fear, Chris, to the way he treats us. Nigel Farage has told court he was genuinely worried after a man allegedly threatened to kill him on TikTok. Now, take this with a pinch of salt, even though it's from the BBC. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽, 26, is said to have posted a video on TikTok last October where he named the leader of the Reform UK and made a gun gesture with his hand before saying pop, pop, pop. Now, that can be misread in many ways. That's the problem. In a high-profile politics, a lot of nasty stuff gets said. Some in the last few weeks, what you don't get is an individual saying that they're coming for you. That is not something I'm used to seeing, and I was genuinely worried, Farage told Southwark's Crown Court. Mr. Khan, of no fixed abode, has denied making a threat to kill. The court heard that Mr. Khan is an Afghan national who arrived in the UK on a small boat in October 2024. Fuck me.
There's only one thing I've got to say on that matter. You're stepping into the highest position within the UK, which means you need to be able to turn around and tolerate of both sides of the spectrum of what you're going to get.
That's his desire.
Yeah. So it's a case of fact you're going to receive the death threat and you're going to receive praise and everything else in between. If you can't deal with one end, why the fuck are you stepping up?
He had posted a number of videos charting his journey from Sweden, where he has been since 2019. On the 12th of October, Farage posted a 5-minute YouTube clip which showed Mr. Khan and his journey. The court heard how Farage posts had highlighted a 𝐾𝐿𝐴 gun tattoo on Mr. Khan's face and described him as aggressive. He also, you see, no. Nigel Farage directly pointed out an actual gentleman who's coming in for migration. So we now know who the initiator is. I'm not saying that what the threat is right or wrong. I'm just saying the initiator is specifically Nigel Farage calling out a migrant who came from Sweden. Court heard how Farage posted the highlights of a 𝐾𝐿𝐴 gun tattoo on Mr. Khan's face and described him as aggressive. He also featured a video showing Mr. Khan with a firearm and asked if he was the kind of man we wanted to live in the UK. Some countries allow firearms to be used. We don't ban Americans. We don't ban the Switzerland's people coming into our country. They both have gun laws. They both have automatic weapons. The jury heard of how a few days later...
Switzerland has a gun law?
Yeah. Switzerland's one of the most heavily armed countries in Europe. Every man and his fucking grandma are packing in Switzerland. Yeah, that's why you don't hear it. Because no one gets shot in Switzerland.
I think Switzerland's another example of if you have gun control, you know how to do it fucking right.
Yeah, of course. But then they also have national service every so many months for everybody over a certain age. Like their whole country engages in these exercises together and they get together. It's like state-sponsored stuff. So the state sponsors, like if me and you were in Switzerland, we would be expected to go out and do gun training together and be a part of a militia squad one weekend a month. And that's kind of like an outing, being with your mates, having a couple of laughs.
It's building a community.
Yeah. And that Switzerland does that all over.
And you wonder why there's like well, I won't say
next to no crime. No, there really is next to no gun crime.
I'm going to say extreme low level gun crime because of the fact they all know each other.
The jury heard of how a few days later Mr. Khan posted a response in which he was demanding Farage delete his YouTube video, which is just. He said he wanted to marry Farage's sister before making the gun gesture. And then headbutted his phone. The trial continues. I'm going to be honest. Mr. Khan's an idiot. Complete fucking idiot. Complete fucking idiot. You're a guest in this country. You've been here less than a fucking year, and you do that to one of the most controversial MPs we've got. Absolute fucking idiot.
It really doesn't does not help the fact that you got a gun tattooed on your face.
A polite request to have the video taken down or you taken to court would have been the right response.
Yeah.
The civic response. The tattoo's irrelevant, Chris. Mm-hmm. Me and you are covered in fucking tattoos.
Yeah, but we don't have it plastered across our face of a violent thing.
Guns aren't necessarily violent, they're uses.
Oh, think of the symbolism behind a gun.
But why would the symbolism behind the gun grant someone a problem?
Is it automatically going to cause immediate judgment?
I think we're past that part of society. You're a little old-fashioned for that, darling.
Oh, come on. This is totally coming from the fact that he's turned around and done that gesture to a fucking...
Yeah, no, that I've got a problem with. That's the problem.
Which is going
not
to be
the gun tattoo.
No, which is going to be based... His judgment is going to be based in that old way. Think about the person that's winning.
Of course. When he's doing this, that's the problem, not the fucking gun tattoo. I just think people are overemphasizing that point of view. The threat against Nigel Farage is serious. It shouldn't be done.
The fact that Nigel Farage has emphasised the gun tattoo on his face has resulted in him doing the gesture to the camera towards Nigel Farage. Yeah? So there's also it's cause and effect.
I just
comes from a different background and reacts differently.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. Yeah.
But
Farage is old and naturally going to think, when us, we'll be like, meh.
The gun gesture is a problem. The video threat is a problem. Him being a fucking migrant who should never have made that comment. Jesus Christ, you're here as an asylum seeker, you stupid boy. 𝐼𝐶𝐵 How could you be so dim, young man?
Well, he clearly ain't thinking, is he?
Fucking hell. Astaghfirullah. I mean, what kind of brain cell do you have by making gun gestures on a fucking video when you're mentioned by one of the country's top anti-immigrant politicians? Oh, you must be out of your choo-choo. Fucking thoughts?
Well, clearly, it's cause and effect from both sides, really.
Fazar, you're an idiot, brother. You're clearly Muslim because you're from Afghanistan. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. And I say it, wallahi, you're an idiot. Because you've turned round and threatened one of the most reactionary politicians in the UK. A'udhu billah. I mean, let's just serve on a platter your ass getting kicked out of the country. Because that's literally what's going to happen now.
Yeah, the legal system's going to turn around and go, well, you've made a big boo-boo.
And in this political climate,
and the way it is at the moment, I'm sorry, but you're gone.
You've only been here a year. There are people waiting 8-9 years for that. Oh, my head, Chris. Stupid boy. Stupid boy. You're over your side, my boy. Digital ID. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Here comes the meat.
I'll start off with the article from the Telegraph regarding digital ID cards to pave way for a £600 million tax grab. Digital ID cards could pave the way for a £600 million Treasury tax grab. HMRC is seeking to fill in sections of the tax returns automatically using digital identification as part of a push to secure unpaid revenue and prevent error by the public. A document published by the Tax Authority in July said that it was interested in exploring further how digital identification models supported by data and technological improvements can benefit the tax and customs system. Oh, what a surprise. It is said that it could include pre-population of tax returns with information already held by the HMRC and linked to a taxpayer's digital identity. The same document suggests it would help to collect tax that currently goes unpaid by making it easier for customers to comply with the obligations and reducing the opportunity for error. The proposal follows a campaign by Sir Tony Blair's think tank for the government.
Oh my God. Sir Tony Blair. Fucking Jesus.
Did you know it's his son that's going to lead the company that produces the digital IDs? It's already been proven. His son will be the one that's the head of the company. Do you see a relation here? I see everything resulting to money here.
Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake.
For the government, in which the former suggested that HMRC could use ID cards to better target tax compliant activity. This would ultimately raise an extra $600 million a year, according to estimates by Tony Blair Institute of Global Change. Last week, 𝐬𝐶𝐭 announced a new mandatory digital ID card, with everyone in Britain given a special code that will prove their identity. The proposals have been vehemently opposed by both the Tories and Reform UK, as well as civil liberty groups. The card will initially be used only to prove someone's right to work in the UK. I'm going to get into that in a minute. As part of a crackdown on illegal migration. However, Downing Street's press release published on the government website on September the 26th hints at plans for further expansion that would in time make it simpler to apply for services like driving license, childcare, welfare, while streamlining access to tax records. Privacy campaigns warned that plans were proof digital ID cards could become a sprawling and chilling surveillance system.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what I want to point out in this very article. The press has said it can come a surveillance system. Yeah. We should go into further points in my little rant about digital IDs in a minute. Policy papers in the TBI, which the Telegraph has analysed, illustrate how ID cards could ultimately be used by the HMRC, local and national government, the NHS and the police. Health data, tax information, and even child school reports could ultimately be linked to the card according to the plans set out by the TBI, which was consulted by senior Whitehall officials before 𝐶𝐭 announced his plans. They're part of the so-called roadmap for digital identification drawn up by the TBI, which could develop into a wide-range super digital ID card that is used to track people's information throughout their life. Sir Tony has long been an enthusiastic proponent of ID cards, with his Labour government legalisation for voluntary cards in the 2000s. However, the scheme was scrapped by 2011 by the Conservative-led coalition amid fears it is too costly, intrusive, and potentially unpopular. Not potentially, it is unpopular. Yeah.
It's not going to pass. I don't think it'll pass the parliamentary vote.
Yeah.
I think here's me being a bit predictive. This is going to come at some point when 𝐾𝐨𝐬𝐵 thinks he can win it. The politicians, knowing the British people are vehemently against this, are going to vote it down. That's going to be a crisis for his premiership.
Right. Obviously, going off that lovely article, which I think is a good stepping stone for what I want to kill. Yeah. First off is the petition. I love to see the facts of that. Let me bring it back up. I had it on the screen. Currently, as it stands at this moment, as we're recording, 2,839,424 signatures has been added to the petition. Yeah. I strongly advise everyone to go sign this if you haven't already, because of the fact I don't agree with the digital ID, especially the road they're trying to take it down, because of the fact it is leading towards totalitarian rule by the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the fact it's just the downsides to us as the public. Yeah. Bear in mind, we're a private public entity ourselves, each and every single person. It is the government that is a public identity, not a private one. Yeah. We own them, not they, the other way around.
Yeah. And we're shifting in a direction that is incredibly wrong for us.
And they are extremely overreaching of their powers. And it's time for us to kick them back in, and this petition is a good place to start. Yeah, so I advise you go to it, but obviously they've also responded to the petition. Yeah, we will introduce a digital ID within this parliament to help tackle illegal migration, making accessing government services easier and enable wider efficiencies. We will consult on details soon. That was just a snippet on the site, but I'm going to read you the full response. The government has announced plans to introduce a digital ID system which is fit for the needs of the modern Britain. We are committed to making people's everyday lives easier and more secure, to putting more control in their hands, including over their own data, and to driving growth through harnessing digital technology. We also want to learn from countries which have digitalized government services for the benefit of their citizens, in line with our manifesto committed to modernise the government. Currently, when UK citizens and residents use public services starting a new job, or for example buying alcohol, they often need to present an assortment of physical documentation to prove who they are or things about themselves. This is both bureaucratic for the individual and creates a space for abuse and fraud. This includes known issues with illegal working and modern slavery, while the fragmented approach and multiple systems across government make it difficult for people to access vital services. Further, there are too many people who are excluded, like 1 in 10 UK adults who don't have a physical ID, photo ID, so can struggle to prove who they are and access the products and services that are entitled to. I'm so going to destroy this in a minute. To tackle these interlinking issues, we will introduce a new national digital ID. This is not a card, but a digital identity, which will be available for free to all UK citizens and legal residents aged 16 and over. Although we consider through consultation if this should be aged 13 and over time, people will be able to use it to seamlessly access a range of public and private sectors, with the aim of making our everyday lives easier and more secure. It will not be compulsory to obtain a digital ID, but it will be mandatory for some applications. Right, I want to highlight a very key thing. It is not compulsory. As much as they are trying to make it sound like it is, they've already said within the response to the petition, it's not compulsory. Yeah, they're saying it's mandatory. So it means if you wish to, if you're willing to. This is one thing I want to make sure is communicated across to everybody. Yeah, there's a difference between compulsory and mandatory. Compulsory, no choice. Mandatory, if you're willing to hand it over. This is one of the biggest decisions, probably in the next few generations, that we're going to have. Yeah, and it will lay the pathwork for what could potentially happen down the road. For example, the new digital ID will build on the 𝐬𝐿 One login and the 𝐬𝐿 wallet to drive the transformation of public services. Over time, the system will allow people to access governmental services such as benefits or tax records without needing to remember multiple logins or provide physical documents. It will significantly streamline interactions with the state, saving time and reducing frustrating paperwork, while also helping to create opportunities for a more joined-up government service. International examples show how beneficial this can be. For instance, Estonia's system reportedly saving each citizen's hours every month by streamlining unnecessary bureaucracy, and the move to become a digital society has saved taxpayer money. All right, research Estonia's lovely digital ID system. I think you're going to be surprised by this.
Estonia's ID,
ESTO.
Yeah. ID card. The Estonian ID card is a mandatory digital ID for citizens and is mandatory documents for EU citizens living in Estonia, serving as both a physical ID and a secure digital ID to access e-services, digital signing documents, and conduct online transactions. The card contains a chip with 2 pins for identity and digital signature, and it can also be used as a travel document in the EU and the scrutinage area.
They've had massive problems with it already, apparently.
There's no direct indication via the Scope, type, election function of the ID card, use for identity, web discussion, forums.
Oh, how ironic. They've blocked everything that says it's failing, apparently.
No, Wikipedia is quite neutral.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. Security flaws, here we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, it did do it, but you had to get down the bottom.
Yeah.
It has 750,000 IDs. Jesus Christ. 750,000 IDs had a security flaw in 2017, 3 years after it. Code library developed by Inferno, which had been widely used in security products such as smart cards. Wow. The 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐞 vulnerability that allowed private keys to be inferred for public keys. All systems depending upon the privacy of such keys was vulnerable to compromise, such as identity theft and spoofing. So no. Don't accuse Wikipedia of that. They're quite neutral about this stuff.
No. The fact that it's had issues has been brought up on Wikipedia, which is a neutral thing.
Yeah.
750,000
private IDs. Not public stuff, private IDs.
Right. And now look up the population of Estonia.
It's nowhere near. It's going to be the Estonian population. It's going to be fucking tiny, Chris.
That's what I mean.
Population. 1.3 million.
1.3 million and 750,000 had identity card issues, digital ID card issues, right? So that is over half the population, or roughly around about that had an issue with ID cards.
No, Chris, I apologise. That was at 2024. The population in 2017 was 1.1.
Oh my God, that's well over half.
My apologies. I was talking about the population today, not the population when the shit went down.
When the shit went down, their population only just breached 1,750,000 of them. Yeah, a good 2/3 had issues with their ID card. Yeah,
Estonia's tiny.
And we're basing our system off the Estonian system.
Yeah, I got a problem with that.
Right. Let's just indicate that factor. They're basing their system off the Estonian one, which had issues 2-3 years after, which compromised 2/3 of their population. Yeah. Now, just imagine 2/3 of the British population. Yeah. That one calls just minor ignorance. That's chaos.
Yeah.
2/3
of Britain's population, there'd be riots.
Yeah.
What's 2/3? Well, what is that? That 45 million people?
Yeah.
Depending on who signs up, remember,
it depends on who signs up, yeah. But it's just the basis of the fact, obviously, a guideline, yeah? Just absolutely disgusting.
Beyond disgusting.
And the fact that all it did was save hours on doing paperwork, yeah? A month. I mean, that's a month, yeah?
Jesus Christ.
By the end of this parliament, employers will have to check the new digital ID card when conducting a right to work check. This will help combat criminal gangs gangs who promise access to the UK labour market in order to profit from the dangerous and illegal channel crossings. It will create a fairer system between UK citizens and legal residents, crack down on forged documents, and streamline the process for employers, driving up compliance further. It will create business information showing where the employees are conducting checks, so driving more targeted action against non-compliant employers. For clarity, it will not be a criminal offence. It will not be a criminal offence to not hold a digital ID. All right. I'm sorry, but I don't believe that statement.
STEM is incredibly authoritarian. Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with that statement.
It's in black and white on the government website to response to the petition. Yeah. It will not be a criminal offence to not hold one, but I can guarantee you he's going to make your life harder if you don't. Absolutely guarantee it.
Yeah.
And in the video that I'm going to describe for you, which is month 2 of the previous one, will explain how he will make it difficult. Yeah. Privacy and security will also be central to the digital ID program. We will follow data protection law and best practice in creating a system which people can rightly put their trust in. People in the UK already know and trust digital credentials held in their phone wallets to use their everyday lives. Yeah, in our phones, which means it's in our hands, not yours. Let me get that right. Yeah. for paying things from store and to storing boarding passes. The new system will be built on similar technology and be your boarding pass to government. Digital checkability, digital credentials, and are more secure than physical documents, which can be lost, copied, or forged, and often means sharing more information than just what is necessary for a given transaction. The new system will be designed in accordance with the highest security standards to protect against a comprehensive range of threats, including cyber attacks. You could do that already. Why haven't you done that to the already existing system?
You have to ask these questions.
If you can ensure that security for the digital ID system you want to put in, why don't you just apply it to the current system that's already in place?
See, this is the question. I don't trust Emma. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't. The motherfucker is a slimy snake. And has proven, unquestionably, he's rampantly authoritarian. Look how he's treated the protesters. Look how he continuously wants to treat the protesters.
Look at the lovely, the Online Safety Act. It's for the safety of our children.
Bollocks!
How many people have been locked up for comments that you don't fucking like? I don't like those comments either, but I don't want fucking people banged up for it. It is a comment. If you get offended by comments, it is your issue, nobody else's. You have the right to respond to that comment. Yeah? That does not mean that you turn around and go get someone thrown in jail for it. We will launch a public consultation in the coming weeks and work closely with employers, trade unions, civil society groups, and other stakeholders to co-design the scheme and ensure it is as secure and inclusive as possible. Following consultation, we seek to bring forward legalization to underpin this system. Yeah, forward legalization. So that means basically within the same thing where they say it will not become law for you to have one, as soon as everyone's literally, most people have got it, they will then turn around and put forward legalization to make it that it is law that you have to have one. You have to read this document carefully and literally.
Yeah, I not with 𝐾 Stemmer. Not with 𝐾 Stemmer. The man is too authoritarian.
I've got a solution to obviously he keeps targeting illegal migrants, yeah, and the right to work, yeah. They don't operate in the normal working environment. If you want to turn around and crack on the right to work, yeah, I've got a very simple solution, which is just a slight upgrade to the current system you already got, which is your national insurance number, yeah. When they become of legal age to work, so 16, 18, obviously depending on voted in government, you just attach a photo ID to that national insurance number, which I could guarantee you most people will have no issue with, because of the fact because that will then link your three important, the three of the key documents that you need in the UK: driving license if you drive, passport, and your national insurance ID. Yeah, all with the same photo ID. You're sorted. That covers all bases, does it not?
Yeah.
One simple action. That's all it took. Just add a photo to your national insurance card after the age, I would say 16, because that's when you start going into work. Yeah. Some people may say 18, but that could be discussed within the government. As soon as that photo ID is there, it then matches up with your driving license if you drive and your passport, bang, you're done. You covered all bases. And if you don't have that photo ID with your national insurance number, it's simple. The company has a right to choose not to hire you because you look dodgy.
With 𝐾 Stemmer, the reason I've been listening so much to this is you can't trust the man. He's too authoritarian.
Bear in mind, all that which I just read is on the gov.co website on the petition, which you'll put the link into, so you can actually see it for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I fundamentally have a problem with this because of how 𝐾 Stemmer is a slimy, snaky motherfucker.
Yeah. Hence the reason why I believe it's already been proven, the fact that this controlling migration with the TRGD is a bunch of bollocks, because it takes one simple solution, which I've just put forward, which is just adding a photo to your national insurance number, which will, I can guarantee, make a massive dent on trying to get of illegal migrants trying to get in and steal a job. Yeah,
I think steal's the wrong word.
Well, obtain a job in the wrong way.
Yeah,
yeah,
unlawfully obtain a job.
Unlawfully obtain a job. Yeah, just simply because of the fact that if there's no photo, if there's nothing, no physical photo these days to link you to a certain number, people use that to their advantage. So as soon as you link a photo to your national insurance number, that's a roadblock. That makes it harder straight off the bat. As soon as you introduce I think it's a very pivotal and actually quite
and you don't even need to put another ID card in. You just add the fucking photo ID to your national insurance card.
You've already got the national insurance card. It'll just be an update version, which includes a photo ID, which means, like with the government system, which you could do at the moment, you could turn around and have the same photo ID for your driver license and your passport. Just link it with the national insurance.
Yeah, you're stopping criminals getting jobs. But I think more importantly, as I've said, me and Chris said in literally the last podcast when talking about working in the dark markets, there needs to be more enforcement.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if they're coming over illegally to get a job,
they're not buying jobs that me and you can apply for.
I was going to say they're not going to go through the legal route to get a job.
No.
In order to go through the legal route to get a job, you need the documentation to go with it. Yeah. So
bypassing national insurance. Bypassing national insurance jobs is really, really difficult these days. And companies that are found hiring illegal migrants are punished unbelievably.
Hence the reason for the photo of the national insurance card.
My partner of someone I know is in the Food Enforcement Agency. They went in, I think it was just going in June, July, found a restaurant with a single migrant whose documents were late. That was it. They were lawful, but they were late. Shut the whole fucking restaurant down, fines the manager, the owner, 22 grand for late documents, not illegal documents.
It's just late documents, yeah?
The immigration officer, and then they were allowed to reclaim the 22 grand. Minus administration costs.
So basically, they went along, you ain't conducting business, here's a fine.
Shut down for 6 fucking weeks!
As soon as you turn around and give me that legal documentation, we will give you the money back and you can reopen.
No. Give you the money back minus the administration costs.
Minus the administration costs.
Because the owner had to fucking have these documents here before they even started employment. And that's what I mean. There is not enough enforcement. I said a friend of mine's actual partner, she's in food migration enforcement. She's part of the immigration business. And she says she can't choose to shoot these days. She has a rule list. She finds one migrant doing something with even the slightest dodgy bike boy, or I'm waiting for it, or it's 6 weeks late. Doesn't matter. The whole fucking business goes down. But there isn't enough inspectors. That's why I don't buy this digital ID bullshit. There isn't enough inspectors. Improve the amount of inspectors we have, you will solve the illegal migrant problems. And we need to start inspecting how our farms are being, our farm product is being done. We need to start looking at the.
He's literally just proved within that sentence that the government is lying about to prevent.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. 𝐾 sliding, because when the limited number of food immigration inspectors arrive and find even literally a single illegal, not illegal, he wasn't even legal, that's the point, he was here lawfully. Even with someone with dodgy fucking paperwork.
Late paperwork.
The fucking shop was shut. 20 grand was passed over and they couldn't open for 6 weeks until the paperwork was clear. Because the owner was being held accountable.
Hence the reason why this digital ID isn't to control migration.
No,
it is
to control the population.
Control the population.
And it always has been. We haven't finished anywhere near, and we've reached our mark quite nicely. I am intending to keep my last 2 points for next week. I'm assuming.
I'm literally just going to. It's going to take 5 minutes just to read off the month 2.
Yeah. Month 2 from that video, which we're going to put links in as well.
Yeah. Obviously, regarding if the entire population strikes against the digital ID month one we covered last week, and the person that was doing it, which we'll tag obviously, is released month 2. So this is lovely.
I like this.
Day 1, government regroups, new laws pushed through, fines increase and surveillance doubles. For the first time, this proper strike feels shaky. Days 2 to 4. Lawyers push back, filing cases, writing letters, but MPs are saying, just wait 4 years to the next election. The new parliament you vote in will undo this, but there is no guarantee. So what So what? We should just sit back and take it? No. Days 5 to 6. Cyber wars break out. Forums shut down. Chat glitches, but activists start to hack back at the same time. The crack shows some people panic, scared of losing their jobs, scared of fines. They give in and sign up. The media days 8 to 12. The media pounces on this. The Mirror and the Labelist praise new signups as responsible citizens. Boycotters are branded reckless and selfish. Families argues communities split. Days 13 to 17. The carrot and stick. Fast lanes in supermarkets. Instant banking. Travel perks, but only for digital ID users. Refusers queue for hours. Humiliated in public. This is getting deep. Days 18 to 21, free speech is squeezed, mate. Accounts flagged, posts throttled, hashtags blocked, but assent is not gone, and a quiet storm is brewing in the silence. Days 22 to 25, activist hackers expose the state of the economy, showing that tourism is losing and billions are slipping away, but the government aren't trying to admit it. But meanwhile, bills are rising, people are drowning in debt. Days 26 to 29, a tipping point shows a tipping point. Some pay for convenience and others push back harder. And the social media, one voice slips through, a crack from a handsome influencer. Bear in mind, this is him, yeah. I love this guy's charisma, I really do. If they want to mess with our money, then we'll mess with theirs. Day 30, it goes viral. Stop paying council tax, a message from the screen spread through the streets, calling for the next step in a proper right strike. This could go horrible. If they pass this digital bill system, this could go really horrible. Really, really scary. And I love the way that this content creator has done this, because it stands up. It's a forward thing. And me and Chris are real big about people's privacy. You know? I don't want to know about his personal web interests. He certainly doesn't want to know about mine, because I promise you it's not what he thinks it is. Do you know what I'm saying? People like their privacy. People need to have their privacy, and this is a squeeze on privacy, and that's what the digital ID is. Have you already noticed some internet service providers are already like literally, if you turn on your VPN, if it won't allow access to the server, so the VPN automatically turns off. No, my VPN is stopped on. That's the point. It just says this website can't be reached if I was to log to that website. Because I don't turn my VPN off. I don't give a fuck. Government ain't getting shit for me. Shit nor diddly. Well, I should say, it tries to turn the VPN off on my phone. I'm like, no, fucking stay on, you bitch. You see, that's on the phone. That's a switchable. On my laptop, my home laptop. On the laptop, it'll just go, can't access. But on phones, it's starting to push them off. So next week, I am going to speak about the threat assessment of China led to the spy case collapse, because that is quite large, and the UK death of homeless people. I'm going to briefly touch on this. The Museum of Homelessness, which compiles the data, said that 1,600 homeless people died in 2024, this year. Damn. Matthew Turles, director of the museum, said the deaths show how homeless people continue to be deeply failed. The homelessness minister, Alison McCowran, described the figures as heartbreaking, said the government was accelerating efforts to tackle the root cause of homelessness. Increasing levels of poverty, data is collected using information from coroners' courts. Fucking body catchers are the ones making these reports. Jesus fucking wept. Among those who died was Anthony Mark, 51, who was assaulted in August 2024 near London King's Cross Station while sheltering in a bin shed. 2 weeks after being released from hospital, he was readmitted following a seizure and died. 4 people have been charged over his death. This is the sick shit we're into, Britain. That homelessness has become this much of a problem. When did we stop fucking caring about people? Just people on the street, people in general. When did we become so fucking cold that our nation doesn't care? And I know what you Nazi bastards amongst the Farages who say, oh, we're too busy housing immigrants. No, we have a legal obligation to house immigrants. These people are falling through the cracks because communities are falling apart. Society has stopped holding fucking hands.
People are stopping to protect each other and stand up.
Stop giving priority of housing to illegal migrants.
They're not. They're getting fucking shitty hotels they can't choose. They're not. That's a myth, Chris. It really is. There's no legal basis. Even when a migrant gets a right to settle, he's at the bottom of the selection pile. They come behind white people. And me and white middle men are normally the ones at the bottom of that pile. Women, children, gays, they go before us, me and Chris.
Under us should be homeless people and veterans, to be honest.
No, above us.
No, above well,
yeah, above us.
Above us.
Yeah. But they're not. They're not even on the scale.
No.
Migrants are below white single men. That's something that people don't mention. In the pecking order of getting a rented accommodation on councils, specifically, I want to mention on councils, it is UK standards that newly brought in migrants are behind white middle-aged men. Single white middle-aged men, not families, not married people, not single mothers, not gays.
Don't get that.
That's just the way that that's what the public housing system's like these days. They expect me and you to privately rent. When private rent is expensive for everyone. It's mad. Anyway, thank you very much for being here. If you've made it to the end, as always, I'm John, Sean, or Yaka. Depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris. Hope you have a smashing day.
This is your voice, your nation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think that went well.
I knew you was going to do that.
I haven't touched it all day.